A midweek matchup in the Hill Cities. Two conference foes battle it out on the University of Lynchburg's home campus on Schellenberger Field. It's a cold red affair here in Lynchburg, Virginia. Joe Brennan joined alongside my good friend and partner, Ethan Morotsky. Ethan, a fun one on deck today. A red-hot Lynchburg offense going against a stout Randolph-Macon defense.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough game for both these sides. Randolph-Macon, you're going up against one of the best teams in the nation. If you look at it, assists at 1.2, assists at 2 for Lynchburg, and that's really going to be huge on both these sides. This Lynchburg, they play such an aggressive approach on the offensive end where their thought process really just caused a ton of chaos. And so Randolph-Macon, with how well that their defense is going, it's going to be a really tough matchup for both sides.
This is a Lynchburg team that's coming in red hot after a pair of dominant victories. You had a 13-0 win against Sweetbriar on the road, then a 2-1 victory at Shenandoah in Winchester. That a crucial contest on the road when it comes down to conference seeding. That's the reigning conference champion that they defeated the Hornets a season ago. And a big reason why is you've got a Lynchburg offense that's roaring right now, especially behind one of your premier playmakers in Danielle Kuhn.
Yeah, 4 goals and 1 assist last week. Those are outstanding numbers, and she's such a threat going up the field, not only in front of the net when there's just so much going on in the circle, but just even on the counterattack where she's flying down the field. She's somebody that everybody on this Lynchburg midfield and even the forwards are looking at her going downfield.
And on the flip side of things, she'll be going against a stout keeper, one of the premier keepers in the ODAC, and Ambrosie Torres with a save percentage over 90% with 4 shutouts and under a goal allowed a contest. She's the ODAC leader in all 3 of those categories. And this team as a whole has 6 shutout victories this season.
Yeah, if you're leading in every single category between the pipes, it's already easy enough to see that she's easily the best in the ODAC, and the success that she has in goal, she's almost guaranteed to get some high remarks after the season is over. So it's going to be a tough matchup. It's going to be really fun to see what goes on in between the pipes.
And this is a Randolph-Macon team that's really looking to get over the hump against a Lynchburg team that has really had their number over the last handful of years. Lynchburg with 10 straight victories over the Yellow Jackets, and that includes part of a 32-game streak over 33 games dating all the way back to 2000.
And if you look, this is a crazy season for Lynchburg. They're one of the top teams in the nation, ranked at 16 this week. And it's been fluctuating up and down, but you look at the history of this squad. They've been run by Enza Steele, who is just a legend in not only Lynchburg history, but field hockey history in the NCAA. And now you've got Coach Jenny Relaford, who's just done a fantastic job being able to take over for the squad.
Picked up right where Enza Steele left off. With that, let's walk you through the starting lineups for tonight's matchup. First for the Lynchburg Hornets. In goal, it'll be Shai Schoons. And the defensive back line of Megan Stifler, Olivia Muir, and Mallory Lamb, with Aurora Balsamo, Allie Freeman, Sar Prinz, Kanya Mazizi in the midfield, then Kuhn, Schuchter, and Doris Stein in that front line. Allie Freeman, someone that we always have our eyes on, one of the premier defenders in all of ODAC, an all-conference performer a season ago, Ethan.
Yeah, like you said, she's one of the better defenders on this squad, but she's somebody that's not afraid to start moving up with the rest of the team when they get onto that counterattack or that break going forward. She's somebody that loves having possession, loves bringing it up for the field for this team, and we can definitely see her getting a lot of action in the midfield, not only in the defensive end, too.
Now we'll take a look at the Yellow Jackets starting 11 today. They've got Lana Touch, Brina McLean, Lynn Gieskin, Callie Quiava, Kylie Gorman, Courtney Moody, Irish Amana, Neely Weinferdner, Caroline Bassett, Bria Dressler, and Valentina Ambrosie Torres. With that, we'll step aside momentarily for the playing of the national anthem. We'll be right back on FloSports. And we welcome you back into Schellenberger Field. Joe Brennan, Ethan Morotsky on behalf of FloSports. A Code Red contest, a red out here in the Hill City, and what should be a fun one under the lights. Ethan, what are you really looking for out of Randolph-Macon to get over the hump and defeat a Lynchburg team that you haven't taken over in the last decade?
Well, we've been talking a lot about the statistics entering this game, but in reality, the mentality of both these squads, especially Randolph-Macon, it's going to have to be legendary. I mean, it's a Code Red matchup. This is the hardest game of the year for anybody that has that Code Red on their schedule. So your main thought process for Randolph-Macon is you got to find a way to silence the crowd and silence the crowd early. They have a huge input. They drive whoever is on the field to play better, and so that's something that Randolph-Macon's going to have to do whatever they can to be able to create some momentum going forward.
It's a start of a very difficult stretch of games for the Yellow Jackets, who have had a phenomenal start to the 2025 campaign. Or I don't know if we can really say start anymore here at the midway mark. At 8-11, you play Lynchburg tonight. Then in your next game this weekend, you go on the road to Lexington to play Washington and Lee, and then back at home for Bridgewater, and you follow that up on the road against Shenandoah. So if you're Randolph-Macon, you really like to at least get one of those three and grab a ranked signature win in conference play.
Yeah, and grabbing a win, a ranked win against, again, the Lynchburg team who's 16, I mean, and they're climbing every single win, that's huge to put onto your schedule, not only statistical-wise, but just looking at that, seeing you can beat top teams in the nation, you can go far, and not only your ODAC conference tournament, but the national tournament.
As we went through the starting lineups for the Yellow Jackets, if you're a Lynchburg fan, you might have recognized a familiar name with the defender Neely Weinferdner, the younger sister of Riley Weinferdner.
Being able to play against a sibling, it's really special. I was lucky enough my freshman year here for baseball to be able to play against my brother, who actually also played at Randolph-Macon, and it's something that you'll never forget as a sibling, as a brother, or as a sister. It's one of the best feelings on the planet.
Weinferdner sisters, both coming down the road from Glen Allen, Virginia, both members of the Trinity Episcopal Titans program, which is one of the top programs in the Virginia Prep League. That's where the Randolph-Macon keeper Ambrosi Torres comes from as well. Ashley being right down the road, about 45 minutes south on 95 of that pipeline, has given them a whole lot of talent. It should be fun to see what they've got in store for us tonight against a Lynchburg offense that has really been roaring as of late. We talked about in the open, over 4 goals a contest. I mean, that really jumps out on a page to you.
And I think what helps this Lynchburg team so well is the aggressiveness of not only their offense and their forwards, but the midfield. I mean, you look at players like Kanya Mazizi, and you can even include Allie Freeman in that conversation too. Even though she's marked as a defender, she loves to go up and help out in the midfield. Every time that they lose the ball or they have any opposing player near you, they're going to do whatever they can to close down any sort of space, not let you breathe, step on that gas pedal, and do whatever they can to make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, we'll have our first penalty corner of the evening. It'll be Allie Freeman with the insertion. Lynchburg with so many options to go to offensively. Danny Kuhn can't bring it in cleanly. Gets it right back on the near wing. Cuts upfield to the right side, sweeping across, lets it go. Ambrosi Torres with a rejection. Ball still loose, batted around on the inside. Kuhn with his stick, shielding her defender. Back out for Freeman. And a whistle blows it dead. Lynchburg will get another penalty corner out of that sequence.
And that's what we're going to see all night from the Hornets. It's just utter chaos in front of the net, but that's where Ambrosi Torres, she shines there. She's one of the best keepers. She is the best keeper in the ODAC statistic-wise, and she's not afraid to have that pressure in front of her. She's never going to panic in those situations, and she also trusts her defense, and that's huge for a goalie.
Lynchburg once again can't handle it cleanly. Kanya Mazizi dishes over. Doris Stein with a quick touch, and a kick was called. So Lynchburg will have their third penalty corner in a matter of minutes.
And even though they're not getting the goal result, you're putting a lot of pressure on this defense super early, and that's what Lynchburg loves to do. You're getting your third corner penalty. You're going to see if they can capitalize early.
Over 10 penalty corners a game for Lynchburg this season. Doris Stein unwinds, ricocheted away, and Randolph-Macon now will take over.
We had to see some matrix from Allie Freeman. That ball looked like the redirection was going right towards her.
It's the final Code Red contest of the fall season for Lynchburg Sports on Schellenberger Field. You've still got Equestrian that'll play right down the road to end the fall campaign. Another whistle gives it back to the Yellow Jackets, out and running. Allie Freeman, we highlighted her defense in the open. You get to take a look at it right there with the defense. A nice tackle, driving towards the circle, has it stripped away. Another whistle blows it dead, and now the fourth penalty corner for the Hornets.
What a great job from Irish Azama. You're on a counterattack, and from Allie Freeman after she had just stripped the ball away from your own player, but to be able to just stay strong in your position and hold off this Lynchburg offense, what a great job from her.
Now it'll be Freeman from the far side of the field. Played up top, Balsamo lets it fire. Ricocheted off a body. Up cleanly on 2 feet. Looked like that was Azama once again standing tall in front of the Pearl.
And if you're a goalkeeper and you've got players risking their bodies for you like that, that gives you just the utmost confidence that they're going to risk everything to keep that ball out of the net. You love that as a goalkeeper.
Danny Kuhn working to her left, now back over to her right. Once again, another penalty corner for Lynchburg.
You've really only seen the ball on the Lynchburg offensive end, so this is huge. You're keeping the pressure on the Yellow Jackets, but eventually you got to think if you're coach Jenny Relaford, one of these has to hopefully Randolph-Macon can concede a goal here.
Freeman up top for Doris Stein. The official will stop play. We'll go right back to the injection. Seems like there's a whole lot of confusion going on in the field right now.
Have Allie Freeman head back towards the defensive end of Lynchburg. Sarprins will inject this corner.
We've talked so much about Sarprins this season as Danny Kuhn unwinds a shot, far post, kicked away by Ambrosi Torres. And once again, the Yellow Jackets diffuse an offensive opportunity for Lynchburg, but the Hornets still maintain possession deep in Yellow Jacket territory. The centering feed ricocheted away once again, hit off a body, and now Randolph-Macon claims possession.
And I tell you what, if you haven't felt what a field hockey ball looks like, it has no give. And to be able to take that off the shin or the leg and get right back into the field of play, I mean, that takes guts.
I certainly wouldn't want to. Danny Kuhn corkscrewing her way inside. And the sixth penalty corner. Half a dozen, and we're not even 5 minutes in.
Racking up the numbers, you got to think this Lynchburg squad, they're perfectly fine with taking all these penalty corners. They just have to, you got to score one of these soon. You've been given a ton of opportunities, but again, it's really tough with this Randolph-Macon defense and how stellar they are.
Played up top to Doris Stein. Over from Azizi. Looking for Prins on the interior. Prins turns and fires. Kicked away by Ambrosi Torres. 0 for 6 on penalty corner opportunities here in the first quarter. Lynchburg will make a substitution as Mallory Lamb checks out. Avery Watkins, the sophomore midfielder, subs in. Just feel at some point, if Lynchburg continues to apply pressure like this, they're due for one.
But I think on the other end, if you're Randolph-Macon, you know how good your defense is. You're perfectly fine with soaking up this pressure.
On it, Dorestein lets it fly. Ambrosi Torres once again, this time with a glove save. Played over to her defender intact. Freeman swipes it. Allie Freeman weaving her way inside. The shot blocked. Kuhn staying with it. Once again, can't get it past Ambrosi Torres. Racking up the saves. She has been unbelievable thus far.
We're just a couple minutes into the first quarter, and she's outstanding. And again, this defense is so fine with soaking up the pressure because they have the best goalie in the ODAC behind them.
Dorestein. Over for Kuhn. Pressure comes. Ball gets cleared. Stifler with it. Over for Muir. Dishes right back to Stifler. Through ball ripped away by Gorham. Now Randolph-Macon will try and get it on Lynchburg's side of the field for the first time tonight. 8 shots thus far for the Hornets. Near side, it's Weinford. Beautiful ball played downfield, but Schoons read it all the way. Nevertheless, Yellow Jackets now in Lynchburg territory. Balsamo's whack recovered by Bassett. Now she's driving towards the far sideline. Working to the circle. First attempt on goal. Can't get it off. They had plenty of daylight, but the congestion affected the pressure right there. And now Lynchburg possesses as they'll make a pair of substitutions. Tatum Humphrey and Fenham Denbyman. Balsamo and Prinz exit. This is a very deep Randolph-Macon team. We've yet to see a substitution from the Yellow Jackets. Kuhn working into the circle. Once again, the keeper able to jump out and make the stop.
What a great read by Ambrosi Torres to recognize that the pass went a little too far, and a great job just sweeping out and being able to take the extra steps to just snuff out any sort of offense there.
The freshman Christian Berry with the tackle, heads for the end line, loses possession momentarily, and that's enough for a Lynchburg turnover. Big swing, reverses the field. It can't be controlled by the Yellow Jackets. Goes out of play into the sea of red.
You got to imagine with how well the defense has been for Randolph-Macon, maybe Lynchburg starts to get a little frustrated eventually in this ball game if their stud defense continues to just dominate on their own defensive end.
Dorestein carving her way inside, drops it off for Peterson. Peterson with some crafty stick work trying to create some space, but all roads are closed by Ambrosi Torres.
Yeah, it looked like Dorstein might have overrun her own dribble, and it was a good job by Peterson to recognize that and try and close down, but just an even better job by Ambrosi Torres.
It's so interesting, Ethan, is you look at the goals average from Lynchburg this season, over 4 a game, good for 3rd across the entire nation. But it's not like they're scoring 4 every game. This is a Lynchburg team that when it's their day, they pour it on. It is certainly a open the floodgates kind of offense. When they're clicking, it's like no other offense in the country where they're scoring 8, 13, hitting double-digit goals, where they'll have contests where their offense goes a little bit quiet, and it's 1 or 2 goals, and sometimes that's enough for a victory, other times not so much.
Well, I think in regards to that, the main thing you can definitely say is that teams like Lynchburg, with how good they are, you're going to have some tough games throughout the schedule, and it won't always be against a ranked opponent or a top opponent in your conference. But those games are the most important on your schedule, the close matchups where it doesn't feel like maybe you should get a win after, or maybe it was a lot closer than you had imagined, but that's where it comes into play. That's why you're one of the best teams in the nation, because great teams find ways to win ball games that are close like that.
Lynchburg has had 4 games this season with 2 or less goals. They've split those contests. They've been shut out 1 time this season. That was the neutral site contest just down the road at Liberty against your Sinus, where it had a feeling that's been very similar to the beginning of this one, where they rattled off 21 shots, 11 of which were on goal, compared to your Sinus's 6 shots. They walked out of that with a 1-0 defeat.
And I bet you if Randolph-Macon before this game, they were taking a look at that as a nice kick save by Ambrosi Torres. But I bet you Randolph-Macon was looking at that saying, you know, the offense, it doesn't matter if your defense is that good. And if we have one of the best goalkeepers, and not just the ODAC, but the nation, it allows you to soak up that pressure like they have been lately. And you can possibly catch this Lynchburg midfield and defense off guard and get a really nice counterattack. Maybe get yourself a 3-on-4 run instead of like a 6-on-6 run, and just kind of catch them off guard a little bit.
Yeah, this is truly one of the premier defenses in the entire nation, not just the ODAC. They're ranked 11th in goals against average this season. It truly is the perfect storm tonight between the top offense and the top defense in the conference.
Yeah, and I think both these teams, you have one of the top offenses going up against one of the best defenses, and that's something that, as a field hockey fan or any sports fan, you're thinking this is going to be a great matchup. And Randolph-Macon, they're probably thinking, bring it on, bring your offense on. We're ready for you. And Lynchburg is most definitely thinking the same exact thing.
What do you subscribe to? Would you rather have that high-powered offense that can't be stopped, or a defense that shuts everybody down?
Yeah, you got to go with the defensive side. You know, defense wins championships. That's probably what I would go for.
There's probably a couple Lynchburg fans that might disagree with you. But that is the old saying, defense wins championships. And that's not to say that Lynchburg has a poor defense by any means. But this is, as we said, one of, if not the best defenses in the country, really led by the keeper. This shot saved once again right on cue by Ambrosi Torres.
Outstanding job. I mean, it's so easy. It gives so much confidence to your defense knowing that you've got one of the best goalies behind you helping you out. It makes it so that if you do make some of those minor mistakes that could lead to an opportunity for Lynchburg, you've still got that extra backbone behind you.
Ambrosi Torres last year was a All-ODAC second-team performer. Allie Freeman wants to test her once again. Tipped away initially. Tatum Humphrey was there on the cleanup, but couldn't put the hammer on the head of the nail. Rolls out of play as we approach the final stages of the first frame.
I mean, to be able to tally 8 saves in 1 quarter is just such an impressive number.
8 saves is good for Lynchburg starting keepers, second highest mark this season. Just an average first period for Ambrosia Torres. 15 seconds to go. Taken away by Muir. She'll weave through traffic as the clock expires. Knotted up at 0-0 is how we will end the opening quarter. Offense versus defense. Pick your poison as we head to the second frame in Schellenberger Field on FloSports. And we welcome you back in. 8 saves by Ambrosia Torres in the first period. Lynchburg pelting them thus far. The Hornets have controlled the tempo of this game, but not able to get it past the brick wall quite yet.
And I think if you're Coach Jenny Relaford and company, you're perfectly happy with the offensive production. Yeah, you didn't score a goal, but I would say about 95% of that first quarter was on the offensive end, as a beautiful job by Maddie Schuchter to extend. But you got to think at some point, when do you pull out all the stops to finally find a goal?
Doris Stein looking for the first one of the night. Ambrosia Torres says no, kicked away. I mean, she is on pace right now for a career night. And last year, she set a career-high number in saves with 19 against, you guessed it, the Lynchburg Hornets.
When you have that much aggression from the other side, it's easy to rack up the saves, especially when you're that good of a keeper. Again, we want to keep highlighting it, but she's easily one of the best goalies in the entire nation. And if you're her, you're saying just keep firing shots at me. I'm going to keep saving them.
Looks like this will be another penalty corner for the Hornets. Lynchburg has been unsuccessful on their 6 penalty corners thus far. It'll be Allie Freeman once again. Muir with a swing. Looking for the far post. Schuchter couldn't punch it through.
Yeah, velocity on that shot. I mean, Maddie Schuchter was in the right place at the right time. Just couldn't really react in time. So another good offensive production from Lynchburg. Just couldn't find the net.
And this is a Lynchburg team that is well aware of the status of this defense. That's something that is certainly talked about heavily coming into this contest. And I got the chance to talk to Maddie pregame about what her goals were for tonight. And she said, I'm looking for a hat trick. I want to make my mark. Said, Mom's in attendance tonight. Dad couldn't make it. He's across the pond watching this one right around midnight London time. That takes real dedication from Dad.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Five-hour time gap, and you're watching. I mean, you gotta love it if you're Maddie Schuchter.
Here's Anna Dorestein cutting inside. Dorestein across, just narrowly sends it wide.
And I know right there, it looks like Dorestein beat her, but you got to think a lot of that still goes down to Ambrosi Torres. If you come out, you close down that angle, it really makes it just a small mark that you have to hit if you're Dorestein.
At some point, it's got to be like when you have a elite rim protector in basketball. Every time you drive into the paint, that's in the back of your mind.
Yeah, everybody loves a Brooke Lopez on their team, Joe.
That's not exactly who I would have thought of. But that's a name. Yellow Jackets still searching for their first shot of the night. Nice takeaway from Dorestein. Balsamo recovers it right back. Freeman with a nice takeaway. Freeman out and running. Spinning back to her right. Crosses over to her left. Plays it back for Mazizi. Prinz calling for it. Mazizi wants to take it herself. A beeline to the cage. Mazizi, the shot. Just wide.
Just caught that right side of the goal. Like you said, Star Prinz was calling for it. Mazizi, she was taking it herself, and she was driving almost the entire halfway point of the field, and a great job. Another great production from the offensive end. You just can't capitalize on it.
Right now, it's been all bark and no bite from Lynchburg's offense. You got to feel like if you continue to pelt and own possession like this, the odds are in your favor. Dorestein with a nice move, cutting inside. Whistle blows it dead off the kick. And once again, another penalty corner now for Lynchburg. This will be their 9th corner.
Almost at double digits in the first half. They're knocking on the door, but Ambrosi Torres, she's shutting it down. She's shutting that door, closing it right in front of their faces, and you gotta love that if you're Randolph-Macon.
Muir outside the circle looking for a deflection. Unsuccessful attempt, but yet again, another penalty corner. Lynchburg now at their season average for corners per contest. We've got 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
And again, it looks like Randolph-Macon's perfectly fine with soaking up all the pressure. They know it only takes one effort down the field to score.
Up top for Balsamo. Sweeping to her right. Uncorks his shot. Tipped up by Freeman. Ball still loose. Ambrosi Torres gets out in front of it. But once again, another penalty corner.
I mean, the defense in front of Ambrosi Torres is just so cool, calm, and collected that they're not really worried about all these corners.
They have been very malleable through the first 20 minutes. You know what that means?
It's a $1 million word right there.
They bend, they don't break. Dorestein off one hop, over from Azizi. She wasn't ready for it, and the Hornets turn it over. Picked up by Cuiava. Laid out in front. Stifler with a foul, but it slows the transition opportunity. Mazizi with a tackle, doesn't have numbers. Running 1-on-5, slows the tempo.
What a beautiful job from Mzizi to take it away. And like you said, she didn't really have numbers with her, but she's so good and so nifty with the ball that when there's no space to take, she creates it herself.
Kuhn into the circle, on the baseline. Through traffic, a slow roller. Kicked away by Ambrosi Torres, and Randolph-Macon once again fends off the Hornets. Good deflection by Dorestein. Blown dead. Allie Freeman wants to attack. The officials say, hold up. Freeman to her left. Brilliant tackle made by Kylie Gorham, the freshman midfielder out of Suffolk, Virginia. Nice stick work on the near sideline. Prinz stops her in her tracks. Lynchburg repossesses. Watkins puts his back in play. Last touched off the stick of Bassett. Freeman with the handle. Watkins takes it right back. Then Byman. Beautiful touch by Freeman. Trying to find Christian Berry. Gets tangled up. Foul called on the Yellow Jackets.
We've really seen Allie Freeman do a great job on the offensive end. It really seems like for the first half of this ballgame, she's been that maestro for this team.
Then Beamon. Far post looking for Peterson. Those two can't connect. Feels like the entirety of this first half has been played on one side of the field. But no goals from the Hornets to show for it. Ethan, is there one aspect of Lynchburg's offense that you feel is not there and has been the result of no goals through 13 shots?
I just feel like the easy answer is the finishing. They've been doing a great job getting the ball in front of the net, and when you've got numbers, you're creating that chaos. You're keeping this defense on their toes.
Schoons with a save. Once again, punches it away. The first pair of shots today from the Yellow Jackets result in 2 saves for Lynchburg's keeper.
And going back to the point and the question you asked, really, it has just been the finishing for Lynchburg. They're doing a great job getting the ball in front of the net. They just can't seem to find a way to get by this defense and Ambrosi Torres.
Been 10 saves for Ambrosi Torres. Lynchburg has been efficient with their shots. Putting just about 77% of them on target. Muir reverses the field over for Stifler. Under the stick of Humphreys and out of play. This last minute has been the best offensive sequence for Randolph-Macon tonight. You'd like to get into this circle and try and earn a penalty corner at this rate.
Yeah, you're starting to give Lynchburg a little bit of a taste of their own medicine. And if you're Lynchburg, you're thinking, yeah, we're giving up all this, we're taking in all this pressure to possibly get a counterattack, but this Randolph-Macon defense is good enough to where they're not worried about a counterattack. They're not worried about you driving down the field with their defense has not as many numbers to compete with you guys. So it's really, you're going to have to find a way to capitalize on an opportunity that they're going to give you. But that's just the thing. These teams aren't going to give you very many opportunities to do so.
This might be one of those contests where one is all it takes on either side. Christian Berry lays it out in front for Prinz. A chance for Lynchburg into the circle. Prinz deflected away by Ambrosi Torres. Ball still loose, a whistle blows it dead, and the Yellow Jackets once again stop the Hornets.
Beautiful defense, a beautiful pass to Sar Prinz from Christian Berry, but an even better job once again by this Randolph-Macon defense to be able to snuff it out and just close down any opportunity. You're closing down the angles. That's why she's such a good goalie.
Sar Prinz trying to find open room, sweeping to her right. And another penalty corner for Lynchburg with under 2.5 to go in the first half.
With the way that this is going, Joe, you got to feel like whoever's going to get and snag that first goal has a very good chance at being able to win this ballgame, obviously because you scored the goal,
yeah,
but because you're not real. Both these teams they're struggling to finish here.
And that first goal might come in overtime at this
Yeah,
rate.
it's a possibility. I mean, you go back to Randolph-Macon's game against Sweetbriar, they had to win 1-0 in overtime.
Mizizi called a kick on Balsamo. 2:20 to go. Oh, look out.
It'll be a card on Sar Prinz on that mix-up, so she'll head towards the sideline into the sin bin.
The sin bin, I like that. The Yellow Jackets have only allowed their opponent to score double or multiple goals in a game 3 times through their first 11 games this season. Right now they're showing you why. Under 2 minutes to go.
You got to imagine if Lynchburg gets this first goal, that other side of the track is going to just light up and show a ton of energy. So if Lynchburg, there's a possibility that if they do get that first goal, that home field advantage starts to kick in more. Maybe some more will start to flow in after that with the energy of your Code Red Knights starting to get a little higher.
It feels like one of those silent night games. I think it's Grand Canyon University that does that, where everybody goes quiet until they score the 10th point of the contest and everybody goes crazy. It's going to be like that, but one goal for Lynchburg, and it's going to come whenever. Because right now they have been kept quiet, courtesy of Ambrosi Torres and company. Under a minute. Make that a baker's dozen for penalty corners in the opening half for the Hornets. But a fun atmosphere here nevertheless, despite the 0-0 on the scoreboard. Chili given out tonight. That seems like a fan favorite.
Well, a lot of people, and not me, a lot of people love the sweater weather how it's coming back into town with the fall and the winter starting to come out. See, I'm more of a spring and summer kind of person.
Muir got it past Ambrosi Torres, but off the mark. Lynchburg keeps possession. Clock still rolling. It's easy for Freeman. Out of bounds. And that will most likely do it for the first half. Unless Lynchburg can get something quick here. Clock's rolling. Got to just try and get a tip in. Mizizi takes it herself through the middle, dishes off. Torres with another save. Make that save number 11 for Ambrosi Torres in the opening half. Well on pace for a career night. An unbelievable opening 30 minutes, Ski.
Yeah, it was, even though it's 0-0, this is a fun game to watch. You're seeing two types of teams just going back and forth. You've got a team that is full-out offensive aggressiveness, and then you've got a team that is full-out defensive aggressiveness where they're not afraid to soak up the pressure. We're seeing a fun one here on a Code Red night.
And I will just say it because we're going to be keeping track of it all night. That last stop was actually credited as a defensive save by Grace Oates. So we're still at 10 saves for Ambrosi Torres, but still on pace for a career night. Second half should be a fun one. Lynchburg's offense trying to get things rolling against Ambrosi Torres and company. Meanwhile, the Jackets still trying to find their rhythm as we head to half number 2 on Flo College. And we welcome you back into Schellenberger Field. A 0-0 score through the opening 30 minutes. It's been a defensive battle, Ski, but it's been a one-sided one.
Yeah, the majority of that first half, it was all Lynchburg on Randolph-Macon's defensive end. There were a couple stints where Macon were able to get on the other end and start some offensive production, but about 85% of that first half was all Lynchburg offense. But like we talked about, all bark, no bite, no goals scored. A ton of saves for Randolph-Macon.
Danny Kuhn gets it into the circle, working through a swarm of Yellow Jackets. And Randolph-Macon takes over. 2 shots from Randolph-Macon, or pardon me, rather, it will stay with Lynchburg on this half of the field. 2 shots from Randolph-Macon in the opening half, both of which were on goal. Mazizi uncorks a shot. Ambrosi Torres, another big-time save. Her 11th of the night. 2 saves for Shai Schoons, but it's the 11th from Ambrosi Torres that has really been the whole storyline of this contest so far. 16 shots from the Hornets, 11 of which have been on target, but unsuccessful with a brick wall between the pipes.
And you got to imagine if Randolph-Macon are able to get on the offensive end and end up scoring a goal, I mean, that could be demoralizing for this Lynchburg team because they've had so much offense, but not able to find the back of the net with how well their goalie is. So you got to think a goal for the Yellow Jackets would be so big in this situation.
Lynchburg's pressure from their forwards in midfield have really kept it on this half of the field. Every time Randolph-Macon's taken over after a long Lynchburg possession, it's been tackles like that one from Balsamo that keep it on this half of the field. Over for Dorestein. Lynchburg's got a great chance and just whiffs at it. Too much topspin. Looked like Ethan out of the tee box.
That's a good one, Joe. Just a little bit of some fan action from Dorstein. Another great opportunity, but you can't take advantage of it. And yeah, I just want to highlight again, Ambrosi Torres, she's just looked so confident in between the pipes, and as you should be. I mean, you are a huge reason why you have a top defense.
Sarprinz, kick save Ambrosi Torres, gets the rebound. Once again, another stop into the pads. Make it 13 saves on the night, a baker's dozen for Ambrosi Torres.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how unstoppable she is. Her skills are just so legendary, and she's confirming right here. Again, you have one of the best offenses going up against one of the best goalies and defenses, and you're proving right now exactly that reason why you are one of the best keepers in the nation.
14th penalty corner for the Hornets awaiting right here. Allie Freeman will take it once again. Freeman with the injection. Up top for Balsamo. Kicks over Kuhn. Sarprinz gets the extra pass. And a whistle on the Hornets. Taken away by Balsamo. Mazizi at the top of the arc. Dorestein, a high arcing shot. Finds its way down low for Kuhn. Shook her on the doorstep. Fighting her way through contact. And earns the 15th penalty corner.
I mean, we sound like broken records, Joe, with how well this defense does under pressure. They've been doing a great job because that's all Lynchburg's offense is. They love creating chaos. They like trying to find ways to get redirections in front of net, right in front of one of your offensive players, and that's what they've been doing, but no luck being able to score, and majority of it's because of the outstanding defense in front of the net and how calm they are, and they're not afraid, again, to soak up this pressure.
Over for Doris Stein, inside for Prinz. Prinz, the backhanded shot, saved by Ambrosi Torres. Once again, a diving save, but this time it sneaks through. Lynchburg finds their first goal of the evening on their 19th shot.
Looked like Sar Prinz, a great second effort. He hit a 180 turn and a little backhand and a great save from Ambrosi Torres, but a second chance opportunity. You'd be able to turn around the complete opposite direction and you find some open space, and it's a great effort from Torres, but just unable to find the stick on the ball.
Take another look at it. Sarprin stuck with it and just right underneath the pads. Ambrosi Torres was there. She made the diving attempt, but just a second too late, and Sar Prinz scores her 8th goal of the season.
Hey, talk about threading the needle, Joe. That was beautiful from Prinz.
Sar Prinz, before this season, had 3 career goals. 1 last year, 2 from her sophomore campaign. It has been unbelievable what she has been able to accomplish this season, and just continues to impress as the year moves along.
And I think some of that goes down to a new regime change with Coach Jenny Relaford and a new role that players are starting to take on. And Sar Prinz is one of the players who has thrived in her new role on this team, and that's exactly why. I mean, she's not afraid to start playing in front of the net, trying to get some rebounds, some deflections to just be able to knock it in. And one of those goals right there, I mean, she did a great job dribbling just right in front of Torres, and that's the exact reason why she's been just so red hot this season.
Doris Stein dribbling out in front. Anna Doris Stein. It's a 2-on-1 break. Ambrosi Torres with an unbelievable stick save on the cross.
Beautiful job. The pass was definitely there for Danny Kuhn on the far end of the goal, and just a beautiful dive, beautiful stick save like you said, Joe.
Well, we go back to talking about Prinz and her new role this year. Not only is it just the new regime, because we also got a look at that a season ago. Granted, things have continued to evolve in year 2 for Relaford, but we've seen so many players move up in their positioning from a year ago, where now we see Schuchter and Kuhn in that front line rather in the midfield, and Sar Prinz, someone that primarily played in that defensive role, had few runs at midfield a season ago, but now she's a solidified midfielder with much more of an effect on Lynchburg's offensive game plan, and she has been one of the most efficient goal scorers all season long.
It's that aggressive gameplay that Coach Relaford has this team going after. Everybody on that offensive end has the eye of the tiger. They see red every time they're near the goal. Everybody wants to score, help score.
22 shots this season for Prinz, 16 of which have been on goal, and she's converted half of those. Her shot on goal percentage leads the team for anybody with over 6. And in tandem with that, her shot percentage right there as well for anybody with double-digit shot attempts this season. Sitting at 33%. That number will climb tonight. Now the pressure flips to Randolph-Macon's offense. All night it's been on the defense. It's been how long can you withstand this pedigree of shots where Lynchburg just absolutely pelted you through the first half and some change. And now, as much as Lynchburg pelts you, the fear isn't as much as that second goal going up on the board rather than you earning that first.
Well, for Randolph-Macon, you're down 1 now, so you've got to be able to figure out any sort of way to start some offensive production. And for Lynchburg, you're thinking we're up 1-0. This is going to force everybody for Randolph-Macon at some point when they start to get more and more pressure. It forces Randolph-Macon to go up the field and create even more space for Lynchburg on their offensive end. So you got to imagine that it could cause the floodgates to open.
Mazizi in the interior. The cross for Dorestein. Tangled up on the inside. And recovered by the Yellow Jackets. Christian Berry. Earns another penalty corner. A big weekend here in the Hill City coming up. Tomorrow, the festivities. Followed up by Equestrian as a home match against Bridgewater, right down the road in Ruttsburg. And you follow that up with Midnight Madness, the basketball pep rally, 10 p.m. Friday night. They're giving away all kinds of prizes there. You can have a VR headset, a brand new TV, an iPad. I want to figure out how to participate in that.
Yeah, I agree. There's some nice prizes.
Yeah.
Followed up by Homecoming Saturday. You got back-to-back-to-back games with men's and women's soccer and field hockey once again.
Yeah. Glad you avoided the three-peat. We don't want to get trademarked by Pat Riley. Field hockey will kick off Saturday's festivities. That's one of the best days to be a Hornet. You get the whole tailgating experience, all lined up in the parking lot behind the press box out in front of the Dell. And you get men's soccer to follow it up at 2, and women's soccer wraps things up at 5 p.m. that night.
It's a good atmosphere for all the players, too, because you've got everybody behind the press box, at the tailgates, having some really good food, enjoying the nice hot sun, and they're going to be cheering you on. But you're also going to have, as we see, some mascots down there. I mean, that's the energy you're going to get all Saturday evening. It's fantastic.
We had the mascot race at halftime, and coming into it, when we had to pick the winners, immediately I thought, Pikachu, I choose you. But that was not the correct way. It was the chicken that fell just shy to the chipmunk. That was the 1-2. In all honesty, Pikachu and Unicorn did not finish. Did not make it in time.
That's the fun you get at halftimes on Code Red days.
There's the chicken. He's got the shades on, and here comes Pikachu on the track. They've got to be having a good – it looks like they're doing some dancing back there. Everybody's having a good time on Code Red. Pika.
I love it.
Played up top to the Castle. It's Balsamo. Crosses over to her left. Drives inside. The flip shot on the doorstep. Ambrosi Torres gets out in front of it. Another save. Played out. Christian Berry tipped up. A defensive save. This time, Lynchburg punches it through. Allie Freeman sticks with it, and the Hornets go up by a pair.
And that's the natural habitat of the Lynchburg Hornets. There's so much going on in front of that. The mascots, they're getting hyped for a Lynchburg goal. Just so much pandemonium in front of the net. And Lynchburg, after a couple tries, they capitalize on it.
Take another look at it, yet Freeman just sitting on the far post waiting for it. What a ball game this has been. I mean, you've got chickens and chipmunks racing. You've got Ambrosi almost setting a career high. She's got 15 saves tonight.
Yeah, stellar defense, again, going up against stellar offense with some stellar mascots on the sideline cheering them on. So this is, I agree, this is an awesome, awesome ball game that we're getting to watch.
Do you got a favorite mascot in sports? And you can't say the Hornet or the Yellow Jacket.
I got to go with the Hot Dogs of Milwaukee.
The Hot Dogs of Milwaukee?
Yeah, you ever seen the hot dog race for the?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
You ever been to a Nationals game? You know how they got the President's
Race, yeah.
So Milwaukee does something like that. You've got the Italian sausage, the brat, a whole bunch of sausages that they do a sausage race.
Okay.
My favorite mascot.
Indiana University does a race of a pepperoni. It's a pizza race. They've got pepperoni, sausage, and basil. I was always a big basil guy.
No, I'm a big basil guy too. You ever seen the Mr. I want to say it's Mr. Freeze in Atlanta?
Oh yeah,
That's
Mr. Freeze. He's a good one. He's quick. He's quick. I don't think I could beat him.
I think you could.
Tonight in the press box, we've got some track and field runners helping us out. I'm pretty sure they could give Mr. Freeze a run for his money. Pun intended. we got to try something like that. Instead of Mr. Freeze, it could just be Mr. Ethan Moratsky.
Running around the track in a...
But this time you get the head start rather than the other way around.
With the track runners running after me?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, we could market that.
We would sell some tickets. Pay-per-view.
I mean, we're right here at the track. Another halftime festivity.
Yeah.
I'll run down there.
Get
I'll take the
Pikachu
headset off. I'll go put on a costume and go run around the track.
I can't even focus on the game anymore. I'm thinking about you dressed up as Pikachu. Oh, I wouldn't know it's you, which is the great part. I just think it's Pikachu.
And then I'd take off the mask and you'd be like, oh, my goodness, there he is.
Precisely. Taken away by Prinz. Nothing but daylight out in front of her. Sar Prinz plays it back. Allie Freeman with a big swing, stopped by Ambrosi Torres.
Freeman tried to get a brace. It was a beautiful run from Sar Prinz. She really enjoys that cutback when even, no matter how many people are in front or behind her.
Callie Short bulldozing her way into the interior. It'll be the 18th corner of the night for Lynchburg. They've dominated that category 18-0.
We've been so busy talking about the Randolph-Macon defense that we haven't even had an opportunity to talk about Lynchburg defense and how they've just been great, not letting any corners go.
Well, tonight Lynchburg's defense has been the forwards and the middies. Callie Short shot runs wide.
And Allie Freeman's a perfect example of that. She's lined up as midfield, but, I mean, she has a goal today. She's been the maestro for this squad. It seems like everything is starting to run through her when they're holding possession in the offensive end. So Allie Freeman is a great example of just your Swiss Army knife, your jack of all trades, where she can just do everything on this team.
It has been a memorable night for this Lynchburg midfield group. That's Sar Prinz celebrating there. I'm not sure exactly what that was about. She might have thought that one had gotten through.
Yeah, I think it was more she was thinking that she had a good opportunity to get a good deflection and just missed the opportunity.
Danny Kuhn earns a corner and the clock stops at 11.4. Enough time to get one more shot off here in the third quarter. The injection from Freeman over to Mazizi. In the interior. Popped up and played out. Lynchburg with 11 shots in quarter number 3. And it's enough to get 2 goals through. Hornets lead by a pair as we head to the fourth quarter. And we welcome you back. We'll catch you up on what you missed during the break. A race between a chicken, a unicorn, a chipmunk, and Pikachu, and it's the chicken by a mile. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, but I can tell you one thing. In the mascot race, the chicken came first.
Gotta love some Code Red halftime festivities, Joe. Or in this case, third intermission festivities.
With that, let's take a moment to check on some of the scores around the conference. Shenandoah and Washington and Lee knotted up at a pair. Sweetbriar and Roanoke tied at 0s. Bridgewater up by 4 over Eastern Mennonite on the road. A lot of action going all across the ODAC tonight. Shot saved. Dorosine sticks with it. Goes tumbling in between the pipes. Results in a Lynchburg turnover.
And that's the aggressiveness from not only this Lynchburg offense, but Dorstein. I mean, when she gets in the zone, when she gets into flow state, there's almost nothing that can stop her. I mean, she was almost colliding into the goal to try and score that.
I'll also give you some scores around the Hive from today. Lynchburg women's volleyball defeated the Averett Cougars at home right before this game got started. A 3-0 affair. As Lynchburg called for a whistle. Randolph-Macon takes possession with 3:15 to go in this contest. Lynchburg men's soccer in a very big matchup on the road tonight against Hampton-Sydney. That ball game tied at 0s in the 52nd minute. We digress. Back to the action on Schellenberger Field. Freeman got tangled up and earned another penalty corner. Make that number 20. There's certainly going to be plenty of positive takeaways for Relaford and company in this matchup. You got plenty of shots off. You got so many penalty corners. But, Ethan, through 3 quarters and some change, what do you see as a few of the things that Relaford might not be so happy about come postgame?
Honestly, there really aren't much. The only thing is that they're doing a great job getting the ball in front of the net, but there are a couple of opportunities that they've had as that shot hits the calf of Sar Prinz, but there have been a couple of opportunities where maybe an extra pass or two could result in another goal or a couple more, but I think at this point you're up 2-0 on a top national defense, so I think when you're talking to your players post-game or even in between the third and the fourth quarter, I think you're just saying continue going at it. The goals are going to come. You know, there's a good opportunity for even more to score. You've got 12 minutes and some change remaining, and go get some more. Let's go make a statement.
I think the one thing that really stands out on this stat sheet is the dominance in corners, the 20-0. But I think with that, Lynchburg has had 20 opportunities on those penalty corners, and they've really struggled to have any offense be created from those opportunities. And we've seen a handful of times tonight where they've struggled to even handle the injection. And that's certainly something that they'll want to clean up. But once again, you got to remember to take it with a grain of salt coming from your 2 analysts with the headsets on that have never played a minute of field hockey in combined, 27 years?
Yeah.
Or 47 years between the two of us?
47 years, yeah.
No, not a single minute of field hockey played. We've watched a handful of field hockey games.
It's a tough sport. There's
Yes.
a lot to know. I mean, when I first came onto the scene calling these games, I mean, there was so much going on, and it's hard to understand. I mean, there are a lot of whistles that to this day, I think there are a lot of people, not even just us, that sometimes don't understand why the whistles are called, but we love watching it. It's so action-packed, especially because it's Lynchburg team.
And with that being said, we got to give a shout-out to Storm Rowling, the freshman practice player. You could see him right there, the tall guy standing up in the gray hoodie. A practice player out of Den Helder, Netherlands. A member of this field hockey team, obviously not playing on this squad, is field hockey is one of a few exclusively female-offered sports at the collegiate level. But you got to love that he's involved with the program as a freshman, comes all the way from the Netherlands, and I'm sure he certainly has a fun time trying to get one past Ambrosi Torres.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a large part of this squad, even though he's on the practice squad. He probably has a big deal on and off the field for these ladies, and those are the type of people that can really bolster your team past the ranked opponent.
With that being said, I think it might be time to find out if the Lynchburg field hockey team is accepting applications for practice players, because we've got a tandem right here that could very well cause some chaos in the ODAC. And by that we mean a whole lot of penalties. Laid out in front, Sar Prinz in transition, a big swing and a big miss.
Looked like it was going to be a whole lot of velocity on that. A good job by Ambrosi Torres to, again, just be that sweeper keeper, close down the angle. Looked like it would have been a good opportunity to rack up another save, but big swing from Sar Prinz.
I think that's one where you hear the fight song playing in the back of your head. You're thinking of the goal celebration already. That was a great opportunity for Prinz. It started with a good offensive sequence. Nevertheless, this stout Randolph-Macon defense, you got to feel like they have a mental factor against everybody they play.
It's tough when you see on your schedule a team that does so well defensively, because you have to game plan the entire week. I mean, this is one of the best offenses, and they've struggled scoring against it. This is a ranked number 16 opponent in Lynchburg, and they've struggled to get 2 goals in this. So other teams, I mean, it's tough.
Christian Berry looking to feed it across the middle. It's poked away. Randolph-Macon will clear it out of the circle. Nice stick work down the far sideline. Here's a chance. Yellow Jackets out and running. The entry feed just passed.
And that's the offense that we were expecting from Randolph-Macon. A beautiful counterattack. Just send your players upfield, give them a through ball, and let them go to work. And she almost painted the corner. That was Leanna Tack. Almost paints that corner of the goal.
What's so tough is you need the deflection there because you're letting that one unwind from outside the semicircle.
You're letting it eat there, and so I agree with you. A deflection, anything to just redirect that onto net would have been, I mean, you got to imagine that would have had a good chance of scoring.
Lynchburg will bring the trap. Is easy with the tackle. The officials will stop the break. Now if you're Lynchburg and you start to look ahead a little bit, we've already touched on Randolph-Macon's schedule upcoming, and they've got a gauntlet after they leave the Hill City. But if you're Lynchburg, you've really gotten through the beef of your schedule, especially with that stout non-conference play. You've got homecoming on Saturday against Bridgewater. Then you play Virginia Wesleyan on the road and Washington and Lee on the road for your final two road games of the regular season. That Washington and Lee one will be a fun one as they have quickly risen into the polls, 25th in this week's latest edition.
Yeah, and I think it's tough to see that matchup on your schedule in just a couple of games and not try and focus on the ones you have ahead of you. That's the tough part. You know that you have a tough matchup coming up, but you got to focus on the games that you have ahead. You have to focus on Bridgewater and bringing another win on Schellenberger Field, especially at homecoming. So I'm not saying don't think about it. Obviously, it's going to be there in the back of your minds, but you really have to focus one game at a time. You can't think of your Washington and Lee game before you play Bridgewater because then you'll get caught napping against the Eagles.
No, they certainly can't look ahead, but we can, which is the great part. And right now you've got a Washington and Lee team that has won 4 consecutive games, and tonight is on the road playing Shenandoah, tied at 2 in the 50th minute. If Washington and Lee comes out of that matchup with a victory, it really sets the stage for potentially the ultimate number 1 spot in the conference just a week away from the ODAC tournament.
And I think if you're both of these teams, you're top 25 in the nation, you're not only thinking of how well you're going to be doing in the ODAC conference and the ODAC playoffs, but you can start thinking about your national tournament. Obviously, you don't want to think too much on it. You don't want to ponder on it again because it can catch you teams can catch you napping before that even starts, but you start to think about the national polls and the MPIs. So it's tough going on towards the end of that season when you have the playoffs starting to loom around you and it becomes crunch time of the season.
Played up for Doris Stein. Galloping downfield with long strides into the circle. The centering feed laid back for Christian Berry, who puts it through. A slow roller across the cage.
Beautiful job, a counterattack from the Lynchburg Hornets. You send one of your fastest players in Dorstein running, and an even better pass across net to Christian Berry, your freshman. And she does a great job just slotting it in, finding some open space. Another goal, we see it here, just threading the needle past Torres.
Doris Stein gets the assist. That is her 7th on the year. The ODAC leader in points this season with a dish over to Christian Berry, who tabs her first collegiate goal. I feel like that one at this stage of the game really all but seals it. Randolph-Macon has had 2 shots tonight, both of which came back in the second quarter. Freeman gets tangled up and hits the deck.
And we'll have a green card be pulled out for Kylie Gorham. She'll head towards the sideline and sit out 2 minutes.
With just 3.5 to go.
Got to think that might be the nail in the coffin for Randolph-Macon.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to go back to this Shenandoah game. I'm looking at the box score right now. It's tied up at 2-2. Washington and Lee has won the shot battle 24-3.
Some precision from Shenandoah. I mean, 2 goals on 3 shots. You got to think every time they get into that offensive end, just looking at the stats, of course we're not watching, but you're looking at the statistics, it looks like it's all Washington and Lee's offensive end, but it seems like every time that Shenandoah gets the ball onto their aggressive end, they got a good chance at scoring.
Nevertheless, we digress. Back to Lynchburg. We'll let you tune in for the final couple of minutes when this game concludes. Another save made by Ambrosi. Ambrosi Therese, I believe with that save, has set a new career high with 20 saves tonight. An unbelievable performance.
We'll have another green card for Callie Short, so he's now back to even on the field.
There's something that Ambrosi Torres must really like about playing Lynchburg. Set the career high of 19 a season ago against the Hornets. Tops it this year at Schellenberger with 20 saves on the night. We've still got 2 minutes to play, and Lynchburg is not looking like they're going to slow things down anytime soon. Danny Kuhn into the circle. Danny Kuhn has it tipped away. Cleared out. Tracked down by Balsamo.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps Ambrosi Torres when Lynchburg's putting up 29 plus shots on your defense, but you got to tip your cap to, again, one of the best goalkeepers in the nation for just doing so well against such a great offense.
Well, this was a ball game because of her, in all honesty. We had 15 shots from Lynchburg in the first half, and they went to the locker room scoreless. And that onslaught of offense just continued, and at some point, you just feel like Lynchburg's bound to punch one through if they kept up that pace, and that's exactly what they did. 15 in the first half, 14 in the second half, and it was the second quarter, or third quarter rather, where Lynchburg just erupted. 11 shots on the night. That was the most they tabbed in any quarter. Seems like we're going to get the clock reset. Seems like Randolph-Macon wants it at 102. No, rather the official wave it off. We'll continue play. Seems like Randolph-Macon really wanted those extra 6 seconds. Now Lynchburg's just trying to kill as much as that game clock as they can. The Hornets will stay perfect on Schellenberger Field this season. Lynchburg 5-0 on their home turf. And they improved to 15-1 overall on their home field under the tenure of Jenny Relaford.
It's all about defending your home, defending your field, and they've done a fantastic job this entire season, and they'll continue that through today against a tough opponent in Randolph-Macon. This is a big win, a big morale booster, especially on a Code Red night for the Hornets.
Clock under 10. Continues to roll, and that will do it. Ski, final takeaways.
I think it was a great game for Lynchburg. We didn't see much defense from them, as it was all offense. On their offensive end, they did a fantastic job playing their type of ball game, just causing panic in the box, or at least trying to cause panic. It's tough when you got a goalkeeper like Ambrosi Torres on the other end. For Randolph-Macon, they did a great job on defense. It was just only a matter of time before Lynchburg was able to capitalize on some opportunities. I think for Macon, it's all about that transition. You have one of the best defenses. Being able to go from defense to offense is so big in a style of ball game against Lynchburg. But a great win for Lynchburg, 3-0. You definitely are happy about that, especially, again, on a Code Red night where everybody on campus feels like is watching you.
That'll do it from us here in the Hill City. We appreciate you spending your Wednesday night with us. Back in action on Saturday. Field hockey kicks off homecoming in the Hill City. Till then, thank you so much, and have a good one.